You wanna come up here? Here's the tail. A friend of mine recently brought to my attention that I have never properly introduced myself to the internet. So hello, my name is Auburn. I know a lot about Disney World and Disney cruises, and I know some about Disney Vacation Club. I started this channel to kind of educate people about Walt Disney World and about Disney Cruise Line, and maybe a little bit about Disney Vacation Club as we go along. So I'm going to do my best to help you plan your own vacation and empower you to make those choices fully informed. But today I think it's important for me to introduce myself to you. So my plan today is to answer a potload of questions from Adam Legg to help you get to know me a little bit better. This is sort of my personal history with Disney. I think a lot of people start with Disney when they're a kid and they start with Disney movies, and of course that's how it started with me. Disney movies were a part of my life from the time I was a child. My first Walt Disney World experience was in 2002. And my family came down for a family vacation in 2002, and I think we came back like every other year or so in the summer, sort of over my sister's birthday, you know, for many years. We didn't start cruising with Disney Cruise Line until 2010. And when we started cruising with Disney, we started with a Thanksgiving cruise every year because that was basically the only time we could get away. My sister and I only lost a couple of days of school, and mom and dad were only out a couple of days of work, and so it worked best for us. Got a cat hair in my eye. So we started cruising with Disney in 2010, and we did one cruise a year until we moved to Florida. The last family trip we ever made to Walt Disney World was in 2015. It was in May. I had just shaved my head for a fundraiser for a cancer center, and my biggest concern on this trip was not getting a sunburn on my scalp, because I had literally just shaved my head the month before in April, and I will try to insert a picture if I can. We stayed at Old Key West, and if you don't know, Old Key West is a DVC resort. It's the oldest one. It's the first DVC resort that they built, so the rooms are enormous. They're huge. They have the biggest rooms of all the DVC resorts. We didn't know that at the time. We had just bought into DVC the year before, and that was the first time we used our points. It was a week in May, and so it wasn't too hot yet. It wasn't love bug season. It was perfect weather. I don't think it rained on us a whole lot. I don't think it was really all that humid. It was hot, but it's summer here. I remember I wore bathing suits under my clothes to kind of help with like sweat. I still do that. When I go to the parks in the summer, I'll wear like a bathing suit top under a rash guard, and then I don't have to worry about getting a sweaty bra. We moved to Florida in 2016. We didn't buy annual passes right away, but we decided to get annual passes because we had been looking into gym memberships. So we decided we would get more out of the Disney annual pass doing the same thing at the park, walking, that we would do at the gym. So instead of using a treadmill and watching HGTV on one of their big screens, we would have park experiences and still use our annual pass, but it's like exercise at the same time. So that's how we justified it, and we've really enjoyed it. Hopping back to Disney Cruise Line, when we started cruising, we just did Thanksgiving cruises every year, and I think we did Thanksgiving every year for 5 years, but I think we missed like 1 year. I think we did 2010 and 11, skipped 12, and then we did 13, 14, 15. So now it's 2020, and I've been on 17 cruises. So I've had my Grand Slam. My Grand Slam was December of 2018 on the Dream, and that was the first cruise I'd ever done on the Dream. It was a 4-night, like very merry time right before Christmas, and we used DVC points for that. It was really fun. It was a great experience, except, like, I will say that cruise was the worst cruise I've ever been on. It was still magical. It was still wonderful. I had a perfect experience, but what ruined it for me I guess it didn't ruin it. It just, what made it less magical than all the other cruises I've been on were the people who were on the cruise with me, the other guests, were sort of demanding, and they were just kind of rude to other guests and even the cast members on the ship. So if I have one thing that I want you to do, like at least when I'm on the ship, just be nice to each other. I mean, it's always better to be nice than and have a good time and not ruin someone else's vacation by being demanding. So just try to be nice. You know, it's really not all that hard. I have been on one 3-night cruise, a couple of 4-night cruises. I've never been on a 5-night or a 6-night cruise. I've been on several 7-night cruises, one 8-night cruise, one 12-night cruise, and several 14-night cruises. So I've had a wide variety of experiences. I won't say that I would never go on a 3-night again, but if I have the choice to go on a 3-night or a 7-night, I'm always going to choose more time on the ship. I love being on the ship. So when I go on a cruise now, I don't get off the ship anymore at port unless it's a place I've never been to before. But even when I did the Panama Canal cruise in November, I didn't get off the ship the entire 14 days. I got on the ship in, let's see, San Diego, and I didn't get off the ship until the ship made port in Galveston. And I got off the ship, I got on a bus, and then I got in an airplane and I came home. Like, I didn't get off the ship in a port at all. And I still have not been to Cartagena. Like, the ship stops there every time you go on the Panama Canal cruise. And I never get off there, and I don't regret it at all. It's one of those ports where I just don't feel safe. And so I don't do it. Okay, so 17 cruises I've been on, and there are still things I have never done. And I want to impress this point on you guys, anyone who's watching. You cannot do it all, okay? And when you start cruising, you'll realize that there are things that you prefer to do, and we'll get into my favorite activities later. But I have never done the rainforest room. I've never done towel folding. I've never done the like character animation classes, and you know, like, it's not something that interests me. But what I'm saying is there's only so much time that you have on the ship, right? And some of that time you're going to spend eating, and some of that time you're going to spend sleeping, and some of that time you're going to spend in port or at the pool. And so you just, you know, getting onto the ship that you've got limited time. So just prioritize things. You know, pick the things that you want to do, and don't do something that you don't want to do just because everyone else says you have to do it. So if I tell you, I think you should really go see a live show in the Broadway or in the Walt Disney Theater, if that doesn't hold any interest for you, don't do it. You know, like, if you know that you're not going to enjoy something, don't do it because everybody else tells you to. Like, there are no rules. That's a lie. There are rules. They tell you to get off the ship, you have to get off the ship. Something else I've never done, I've never been to Disneyland, and this is something I really want to change. Fingers crossed that I can make it to Disneyland this year. The plan is to go sometime this fall, and fingers crossed that I'm able to do that. I'm really excited about it, and I'm kind of glad that I wasn't taken as a kid, because this is something that I'll get to experience for the first time as an adult. And these are memories that I will be able to treasure, because it's something that I will experience, you know, and be completely aware of what's happening around me. I'm really excited about it. So we bought into DVC in 2014. And when we bought into DVC, we bought on the ship on a Disney cruise, and it was Thanksgiving. And I don't know if they do this anymore, but it was like a Black Friday sale. So we got a really good deal. We got 10 extra points every year for no charge, right? So we got however many points we got 10 extra points. And then that very next spring, so we bought in Thanksgiving of 2014 on the ship, and then we used those points to stay at Old Key West in May of 2015. Excuse me. So when we used those points to stay at Old Key West, that was the first time we'd ever stayed on Disney property. We usually stayed at like a Hilton Grand Vacation Club when we came to Orlando. So we stayed off property, we rented a car, we drove into the park every single day, like when I was a kid. And then when we stayed on Old Key West property, we used DVC points, and then we took the bus. I don't think we rented a car. Yes, we did. But anyway, we took the bus everywhere on Disney property, and it was easy. It took a little bit longer than like renting your own car, but we didn't have to pay for parking, so it was convenient. We just knew we had to leave early to get to where we needed to go. The second time I stayed on property, the last time I stayed on property was in like this last December, in December of 2019. And we stayed 3 nights on the boardwalk. And we just did, we went into the park, we walked through Epcot to get to the monorail to do our resort hop, like the monorail part of the resort hop. And then we went into Magic Kingdom for a Christmas party. But we did not spend time in the parks. In one of my recent videos, I talked about doing like a resort hop vacation as a budget kind of vacation. It's really cool. You can do so much in the resorts without spending a ton of money. Even if you do spend money in the resorts, you're not paying for your park ticket. You're not waiting in a line for a ride. You're not waiting in a line to get on the monorail to get to the park, you know? So it's just a lot less frustration. And if you haven't experienced the resorts, I really highly suggest you take some time to see 1 or 2 of them the next time you're here. If you really like beignets, go to Port Orleans and have a beignet there. They have boozy beignets. You can get the Mickey shaped beignets, and those are really fun. If you like Dole Whips, you don't have to go into the park to get a Dole Whip. I think they sell Dole Whip. I know they sell it at the Polynesian. If you really like tiki bars, there's a really fun tiki bar inside the Polynesian Resort. You kind of have to know like the secret door. It's really not very hidden. It's on the bottom floor, but just ask about Trader Sam's and they'll take you there. Sometimes it's really packed and you can't get in, but it's a really fun place with like, it's interactive. It's so much fun. Let's see what else. I think they have Dole Whip at the boardwalk if you like watching sports on TV. The ESPN Club at the boardwalk is really fun. It's a really fun place to watch football. We went to the boardwalk to watch football like 3 or 4 Sundays last year, and it was so much fun. We had to get there early to like get a table because that place packs up. It was so much fun to get there and watch a game in a place filled with other people watching games. So it's not just one TV. The place is covered in TVs. There are TVs in the bathroom, so when you're in there, you're not missing anything. It was so much fun. But I highly recommend you try, you know, like looking up a resort, or like even if you're gonna stay at one, spend a day in that resort checking it out. There are so many details that you don't notice. And if you go in the holiday season, like there are gingerbread houses that are so intricate and beautiful. You don't want to miss it. The Beach Club, Yacht Club does a carousel and it moves. So cool. All right, back to Adam's questions. I have them printed, so that's what I'm looking at. Let's see. My favorite souvenir shirts. I love Disney shirts. This one is a like sweatshirt kind of thing. And so it looks like it's like varsity, but I got this at the Character Warehouse for less than $10. Shirts are my weakness. I love the Spirit jerseys because they're so sturdy. The shirt itself is really sturdy, so you know it's not gonna like wear out on you. And I love the themed ones. Like the Halloween one from last year was like the candy cane one and had glitter on it, and I love glitter. I love shiny things. I'm like a fish, you know. I love shiny things. And I was afraid when I got it that when you wash it, I was afraid the glitter was gonna come out, and it didn't. And it made me so happy, like irrationally happy. My favorite park snack. Okay, as an annual pass holder, I don't really snack in the parks. When I do snack, sometimes I'll take my own snack. If I know I'm gonna be there all day, I will pack my backpack and I'll pack like I always take a bottle of water, like a reusable bottle, because they've got those refillable water bottle stations like everywhere. Even in like Pandora, there are water bottle refilling stations in the queue for those rides. It was planned so well. I'm so impressed. But I'll always take a water bottle with me that I can refill, and sometimes I'll take a sandwich and I'll keep it in like a Tupperware so it doesn't get squashed in my bag. but it's sometimes really fun. It's like taking your own little picnic to the park, and you can always take your own food in. They will not let you take in a cooler unless it's medically necessary, but I always love taking my own food because then I'm not paying for it while I'm there. Food at Disney can be really expensive, and as an annual pass holder, when I'm going all the time, I really hate to buy snacks when I can just take my own snacks with me. When I do buy snacks in the park, it's popcorn. I love popcorn. I love popcorn buckets. I got a really cool Pluto Christmas popcorn bucket on the cruise ship in November when I was on the Panama Canal cruise for 2 weeks. And I kind of got to this place where I was on a first name basis with the popcorn guy, and he would see me coming down the hall and he would smile really big, get really excited, and then he would start like fluffing the popcorn and getting it ready for me because he would see me coming and he knew, he just saw this look in my eyes. That's the popcorn girl. Okay, one thing I try to do every time I go to Walt Disney World. It's hard to say because it's something different for every park. Like if I go to Epcot, I want to do Spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth makes me happy. Now, this used to be Ellen's Universe of Energy. It was my favorite place to be in Epcot until they tore it down. And I'm still a little bitter about it. Like, we'll talk about some of the things that I think Disney's doing wrong later. That's one of them. But, yeah, if I'm in Epcot, it's Spaceship Earth, like every time. Animal Kingdom, I always do the safari, just because I love seeing the new baby animals. They make me happy. I love seeing the elephants rolling around in the mud. I love the safari. It's so much fun, and it's so laid back. You know, I don't like the rides where I have to take my sunglasses off to ride the ride because I know they're gonna blow off my face. I just like the leisurely kinds of things. Like, I like Small World. I really love Small World. I'm probably the only person in the world that loves Small World, but it's my favorite, okay? You know how the DVC booths give out stickers? I always go by the DVC booth and I say hi to those guys and ask them, like, where do you own? Because I'm always curious, where did you buy and like when did you buy? Because where and when are kind of related to each other. Like, we bought Alani because that's what they were selling. I mean, if we had had a choice, if we had known that we had a choice to buy anywhere else, we probably would have bought somewhere else, like the boardwalk, somewhere here at Walt Disney World that we actually would have stayed in, because we actually have not yet stayed in Alani. Who are we? But we're doing it wrong. It's fine. But anyway, I stop at the DVC booths all over the park. When I'm there, I will just like come home with a pocket in my backpack filled with the free stickers because we do a really fun craft with them. And I'm gonna have my mom come on in a video and show you guys what she does with the DVC stickers, because they become a pixie dust gift on Disney Cruise Line, and that's really fun. I always like to talk to the cast members. So even if, like, when I'm going into the parking lot and, you know, they got the parking toll booth or whatever, I roll down my window, and if their little name tag says like they're from Trinity College or something, I will ask them what they're studying. I really like talking to the cast members and asking them where they're from, how long they've been here, what do you miss about home, like in the winter around Christmas time, like what's your Christmas holiday, or what's your holiday tradition, like, so what's something that you like to do with your family, or will you get to spend this holiday with your family? I think it means a lot to them that somebody has taken the time out of their vacation day to like learn more about them. And I really like learning about the people who are helping Disney make magic, because that's what their job is, you know. And I really enjoy my cast member encounters. There's some of my favorite Disney memories are like getting to know cast members. I was on a cruise once, and I was walking up to the Walt Disney Theater to sit with my family to watch a show, and I don't remember what the show was, but there was this cast member standing outside, like welcoming people, greeting people, walking into the theater. And his name was Chris, and I just started talking to him, and I talked to him until the show was over and the theater was empty. and it was really fun. I don't remember what we talked about. I mean, it was so much fun just chatting with somebody. And now he's one of the adult entertainment hosts on Disney Cruise Line. Like, it's incredible because he has moved up, and I remember him because I made that memory with him. And he probably doesn't remember me, but I do know that it made my cruise more special. I'm hopping all over the place from Disney Cruise Line to Disney World because, you know, why not? They're both fun. Adam asked my favorite way to get from the Ticket Transportation Center to Magic Kingdom. So if you've never been to Disney World, then you probably don't know that when you park your car, you are not walking distance from Magic Kingdom. There's a lake separating you from Magic Kingdom. So when you go to the Magic Kingdom, you park your car at what's called the Ticket Transportation Center, and then you go through security. Your choices are you take a monorail, I think it's Magic Kingdom Express monorail, from the Ticket Transportation Center to the Magic Kingdom, and it goes through the Contemporary Resort, like literally through the Contemporary Resort. You could take the ferry, which goes directly from the Ticket Transportation Center across the lake to the Magic Kingdom, or you could take the resort monorail from the Ticket Transportation Center, the TTC, to the Magic Kingdom, but it goes through the Polynesian, it stops there briefly for pickups, it stops at the Grand Floridian for pickups, and then you're at the Magic Kingdom. Now these come less frequently, but there are always fewer people on them. So I always take the resort monorail. I'm never in a hurry. You know, as an annual pass holder, I'm not in a hurry. If you are in a hurry and the line for the express monorail is like down the ramp and like stretching for miles, take the resort monorail because it's going to get you there faster, because you still have to wait in that line. Now the thing about the monorail that I prefer to like the Skyliner is it moves like 300 people at a time. Okay, so it moves a lot of people at a time. And you get a really cool view. Like when you go through the Contemporary, you get to see like Chef Mickey's. But when you go through the resort monorail, you get to see like the wedding pavilion at the Grand Floridian, and you get a different view of the Polynesian, and you get a different view of like the Contemporary, and then the Four Seasons Resort behind that. It's so interesting to get to see things from a different point of view. It's a different perspective. Hopping back to Disney Cruise Line, he asked about my favorite cruise. I don't know that I have a favorite cruise. My favorite itinerary was the, sorry I'm slouching. My favorite itinerary was the Panama Canal cruise that left out of Port Canaveral, and the next day was at Castaway Cay, and then it did the rest of the route toward like San Diego. So it went through the canal and then up the other side to San Diego, and that was really fun. I really love Castaway Cay. Like, it is my favorite place in the entire world, and if you agree with me, we can all live there together. It's a wonderful, beautiful paradise. It's perfect. It makes me so happy. There was nothing wrong with that cruise, not like to make it not my favorite. It just, you know, I don't know that I would call it my favorite because I have loved all of them so much. Let's see, I have really happy memories of the Panama Canal cruise from last November. It was a Christmas cruise, and so it was 14 days on the ship with a gigantic gingerbread house and an enormous Christmas tree and twinkly garland and wreaths and trees and like Christmas hats on all the cast members. Like, it was so Christmas Wonderlandy on a cruise ship. I loved it. I didn't want to get off the ship. It was so perfect. Okay, 3 things that I think everyone should experience on Disney Cruise Line. Okay, 3 things. The main dining room, definitely. Go to dinner. Go to each restaurant at least one time. Don't skip it for Palo. Don't skip it for Remy. Just do the main dining room. Pirate Deck Party. Don't skip the Pirate Deck Party. Always go to that. It's so much fun. Like, the fireworks are cool because they're synced with the music, and that's really fun. And there's like a story to the show that they do before the fireworks. And then if you're still hungry because you haven't had enough to eat at dinner, I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how anybody does it, but if you're still hungry, there's a buffet after the pirate fireworks. Don't skip the live productions in the Walt Disney Theater. If you've never cruised before and you've never seen a Broadway style show, and so you don't know if you don't like them, like if you like live theater, you're gonna go. If you don't know if you like it, just go and try the first show, and if you love it, then keep going. So now he's asking about my go-to cruise activities. Mine are very different than what I will tell people to do because I don't know what you like to do. I know what I like to do, and like I know that when my booking window opens, the very first thing I will book is Palo Brunch, and the second thing I book is beverage seminars. Favorite main dining room meal. My favorite Disney Cruise Line main dining room meal is the French menu night in the Atrium restaurant, and I love the deep fried brie. I get the French onion soup for my super salad, and then I get the Chateaubriand, and I don't get any sides with it. I just get the steak. And for dessert, I order another brie. Something I'm looking forward to with Disney Cruise Line. The new ships, like everybody is, but I am so excited. I'm so excited to see what the layout of the ship is going to be, because I feel like the Magic and the Wonder were perfect. Like the layout, I love the layout. I love where things are. With the Dream and the Fantasy, I kind of feel like the ships got too big too fast, because the adult bar area is moved to deck 4 aft, and there's nothing wrong with that, except when you are walking from like D lounge on deck 4 to the back of the ship and you want to go to the aft elevators, you have to literally walk through the bar to get to the elevators, and I just really dislike that. So I'm hoping that they make some of those changes on like the Wish. Okay, so I want to get into some of my unpopular Disney opinions. I think everybody has some of these, and I think a lot of people hide them away from the world because they don't want anybody to know that they don't think Disney is perfect. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think Disney does everything right. I think they do a lot of things really well. Ellen's Universe of Energy should never have disappeared. Like, I miss that ride every day. I miss that ride. It made me so happy. I laughed every time. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna justify it to you because I don't want you to get mad and click off. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge should not have been the same in both parks, okay? Hear me out. I wanted a Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in every park around the world, okay? But I don't want it to be the same. I want a Tatooine somewhere. I want a Hoth somewhere. I want a different Star Wars experience, like a land that we've already been to, a planet that we've already been to, a place that we have already been to. Like, you could do the Death Star somewhere, like in a park somewhere around the world. Like, wouldn't that be fun? Okay, so we talked about the monorail earlier. I love the monorail because we can move so many people at a time, and it stops completely for everyone, so there's no trip hazard. The Skyliner confuses me because I feel like we buried power lines because they were ugly, right? That's why, and it's also safer, you know, to have them underground. They're not gonna be like knocked down by trees or hurricanes. Like, okay, we live in Florida. I live in Florida. Mickey lives in Florida. This is Florida. We have hurricanes, and I don't understand why they thought it would be a good idea to have a cable car hanging in a place where we have hurricanes, and I just don't get it. Do I hate it? No. Is it scary? No. I wish that they had built a second ticket transportation center that worked as like a monorail hub between like Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. Okay, this is the last thing, and it's Lighthouse Point. I'm excited that Disney is expanding in the Bahamas. I'm excited that there's going to be a second destination, you know, like Disney destination. I'm concerned because it's not private. Castaway Cay is what people call Disney's private island. The only guests who are there are the guests on the cruise ship. Lighthouse Point just concerns me because when you look at the maps that they've released, and they haven't really released a whole lot of information, but when you look at what they have released, it just looks like it won't be private because there are beaches that will be shared with the rest of the Bahamian island. So I just worry that the experience on the island is going to suffer because of that. And I'm sure it's going to be safe. I'm sure they're going to do their best to keep it clean. But my concern is that the experience is going to suffer. I probably won't do this again, at least not for a while. This channel isn't going to turn into an all about me kind of thing, but I felt like it was important to introduce myself to you and to kind of introduce you to a little bit of my Disney history and kind of talk to you about the way that I do Disney and the things that I like to do. I want to continue to create educational content regarding like Disney World and Disney Cruise Line. If you have any questions about Disney Vacation Club, Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disney movies, whatever, ask me. I would love to answer your question. I think the next video that's going to go up is going to be all about meeting characters on Disney Cruise Line. I'm trying this schedule, and I've been doing this for a while, but I'm trying this schedule of having videos go up Monday and Thursday every week. Please share any ideas that you have with me, any questions, anything you would like a video on, and I will do my best. You'll see me really soon. Bye.